Alrighty guys, we're back for some Mono Red Goblins, and this is a March of the Machine, the Aftermath, Standard Brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat, and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do got that Discord link down in the description if you're interested in joining that up. Okay, what do we got packed into the build here? First of all, this was a suggestion down in the comments. Somebody posted a list with just a whole bunch of one drops packed into the Goblin build, and it looked awesome. So this is my version of that list. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Okay, we have a single Furnace Skull Bomb in here. It's a small artifact theme going on, so bear with me, right? So Furnace Skull Bomb is a 1 mana artifact. You can pay 1, sacrifice Furnace Skull Bomb, draw a card, or pay 1 in a red, sacrifice Furnace Skull Bomb, put 2 oil counters on target artifact or creature you control, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery. I actually think this card's going to be pretty decent in here. We do have some oil synergies to work with as well. We have 3 Mishra's Research Desk. This is a solid one. We don't get to see these too often, so I'm going to go over them. It's a 1 mana artifact. You can pay 1, tap it, sack it, exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Nice. And then it has on Earth for 1 and a red. Not bad, guys. Honestly, these artifacts that can sacrifice themselves is actually going to be pretty important in here because of another card that I'm about to go over in just a moment. So we have all 3, not all 3, wow. We have 3 Experimental Synthesizers. It's a 1 mana artifact. When it enters or leaves the battlefield, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of turn, you may play that card. So this isn't necessarily something you want to do on your first turn. On turn 2, however, playing this out first before playing a land could be huge. Just something to think about, right? We have 4 Exuberant Fuselings. It's 1 mana, 0/1 with Trample, and it gets +1/+0 for each oil counter on it. When Exuberant Fuseling enters the battlefield, and whenever another creature or artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on Exuberant Fuseling. Yep, this is just kind of a solid 1 mana card, man. Like, it's good. The last few times we played with Fuseling, it was kind of sort of an MVP. Now, it does die to a lot of things, but... And of course, like, if the opponent chumps it, it's probably going to die because it only has 1 toughness. But I'll tell you what, you can pack a huge punch with Fuseling before it ends up dying, so... All 4 Gleeful Demolition's the main reason to actually go for the artifact theme in here as well, so... For 1 red mana, it's sorcery speed, destroy target artifact. If you controlled that artifact, create 3 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens. Now, it is destroy artifact. It's worth noting that that's just not the same thing as sacrificing your own artifacts. And that's worth noting because we have Goblin Blast-Runner in here. So 1 mana, 1/2. Goblin Blast-Runner gets +2/+0 and has Menace as long as you sacrificed a permanent this turn. Okay, so Synthesizer can sacrifice itself, Research Desk can sacrifice itself, Skull Bomb can sacrifice itself. Just be careful that you don't think of Gleeful Demolition as a sacrifice because I have done that while testing out the deck. So, all right. We have 4 Mirran Banesplitters. This is a 1 mana artifact equipment with flash, and when it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. And then the equip cost is pretty expensive. It's 3, but it's pretty nice to be able to flash this down on like a Blast Runner, do an extra 2 damage, and you could also treat it as a combat trick too if the opponent ends up blocking you. A Banesplitter onto a Fuseling's pretty good too because of that extra trample damage. Just kind of treat this as an extra way to get 2 damage to the opponent's face, hopefully, but then also keep an artifact on the board that you can use later on to destroy to like a Gleeful Demolition or something, right? So all 4 Voldaren Epicures, that extra blood token is great, and we have closed out plenty of games by just dropping Epicure and having it deal 1 damage to the opponent. So we have 4 Iron Apprentice in here. It's a 1 mana 0/0, but it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then when it dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on target creature you control. So it is possible so it doesn't just say put those +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, right? It is possible to give the Apprentice the oil counters from a Skull Bomb, and then if Apprentice ever dies, you could plug all the counters onto a Fuseling or something, right? So that could be neat. I don't know how often that comes up, probably literally never, but it's something to think about. That's a lot of 1 mana cards, guys. 31 total 1 mana cards. So we only have 18 total land in here, which I think is actually going to be enough. I really do. Maybe even 17. Probably not. There's going to be plenty of turns where we want to do multiple things on the same turn. So, okay, 2 mana cards. We got a couple Gilded Pinions. I love this equipment, man. It's a 2 mana. Equip cost is 2, and when it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Nice. And now the treasure tokens, of course, you can tap and sacrifice this artifact, so they work really well with the Goblin Blast-Runner, which of course is just if you sacrificed a permanent. So yeah, there you go. Doesn't say like non-token permanent. Anyways, so when it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token, and then equipped creature has flying. That could be a great way to help us wrap up the game, but it's just also a way to get 2 different artifacts onto the board at the same time. So we have Sokenzan Smelter in here as well. Sokenzan? Yeah. I don't know. That just sounds weird. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it right. Oh, well. It's a 2 mana 2/2 at the beginning of combat on your turn. You can pay 1 mana and sacrifice an artifact. If you do, create a 3/1 red construct artifact creature token with haste. Nice. So being able to sacrifice, of course, works with the Goblin Blast-Runner and everything like that too. So just getting extra artifacts down with like the Gilded Pinions and then being able to sacrifice like the Gilded Pinions for the sake of getting a 3/1 construct down sounds pretty good, man. Couple of these. Yep, I think it's going to be fine in here. Got 4 Rundvelt Hordemasters here. It's a 2 mana 1/1, and we're really just looking at the top ability where other goblins you control get +1/+1. So of course the goal is to go nice and wide with all of our 1 mana goblins, and then buff them once or twice with a couple Hordemasters a couple turns in a row, right? So whenever Rundvelt Hordemaster or another goblin you control dies, exile the top card of your library. If it's a goblin creature card, you may cast that card until the end of your next turn. I don't know how often that actually comes into play because there's not like too many goblin creature cards. There's definitely enough, but yeah, there's 15. So you're probably just hitting land or some of your other important stuff off of that bottom ability. But either way, maybe you'll hit a goblin with it. Okay, the very top end, we have a couple Rebel Salvos in here. It's a 3 mana affinity for equipment. We do have 6 equipment packed in here between the Banesplitter and the Gilded Pinions, so that's not bad. Rebel Salvo deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That permanent loses indestructible until end of turn. Happens to just be pretty good, man. It really is decent, even if you are paying all 3 mana for it. And this deck in particular, you're probably hoping to get it down to 2 mana. You never know. It might happen, and that's pretty good, man. 5 damage, you just have to do 5 damage sometimes, so especially if you're up against Shieldred or something. And a single Squee on the top end as well. You guys know Squee, it's a great goblin, but since we're going so low to the ground here with all these 1-drops, only 1, and I believe in the suggested comment, I believe their list was only rocking 1 Squee as well. I like that. Yeah, their list inspired me, guys. I love it. 31 1-drops packed in here. Honorable mentions, man. Cacophony Scamp would be a pretty powerful goblin to include in this list, not gonna lie. Feels pretty weird not playing with Play With Fire. Voltage Surge should have made the cut, honestly, but I really want to try out Banesplitter, and I like having that in here with the Rebel Salvo and stuff. Also, Voltage Surge, like 4 damage just doesn't hit as much as you would hope sometimes, and so having the 5 damage on the Salvo just seems a little better, so we'll see. I like that it also counts as the sacrifice for the Goblin Blast-Runner and everything too, so definitely in the honorable mentions for a reason. Something else, guys, we're going wide pretty easily with things like Gleeful Demolition, so I included some Convoke cards over here in the honorable mentions. Honestly, dude, I sound like a broken record at this point with all the Convoke, but there's just so much power packed into these Convoke cards. It is like, I'm just waiting for them to be broken by somebody out there, right? So Burning Sun's Fury, I feel like is pretty underplayed. It's pretty powerful overall, I would say. Halo Hopper could be a cool Convoke one in here because it is an artifact, so it does work with that theme, but I think it's going to be a little slow for this deck in particular. Stoke the Flames, obviously, I thought about. We're going so wide, man. I don't know. You probably have a bunch of free Stoke the Flames at some point, but not this time around, huh? City on Fire, I thought about. Just going like a complete Goblin build with City on Fire, but not this time, huh? Thought about Mishra's Foundry, but this time we're actually playing with Mirrex instead. If we do end up seeing too much land, I think getting those extra 1/1s off the Mirrex is going to be a little better than powering up the Mishra's Foundry. because these are also artifacts too, and you can use those for anything. You could sacrifice the might to, not sacrifice, you could destroy the might with Gleeful Demolition, for example. So that's something you I was going to say definitely don't want to deal with Mishra's Foundry, but I guess there would be moments where you would. But yeah, no, I think Mirrex is going to be fine in this one over the Foundry. I thought about Twin Shot Sniper. It could be pretty good early removal. Acts as an artifact, but we just don't have enough land to think about this as a 4-mana goblin, you know? So same concept with Chimney Rabble. It could have been a cool addition maybe. And then Bloody Betrayal I thought about for quite some time. Just getting that blood token, being able to take something huge from the opponent, full swing, and then having that blood token for something else later on. Could be really cool. Definitely a card to think about. Okay, guys, is that everything? I definitely spent way too much time going over such a simple build, man. I don't know how simple it's actually going to be to run, but we'll see, huh? Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. Right into that first match, guys. All right, so what am I expecting from the build? I gotta be real with you guys. I'm expecting a lot. Maybe I shouldn't be, but this isn't a bad hand. I'm gonna keep this, man. We go first. That's great. That's great news. I think it's gonna be Epicure. Get a creature down. I kind of wish it was a 1-mana goblin because we have Hordemaster, but this totally works, man. Okay, Reckoner Raid. Oh, another Hordemaster. Oh my. Well, we could try to search, but I think it's just going to be Hordemaster. I don't mind Iron Apprentice and Research Desk, though. But a couple turns in a row of Hordemaster, if we see a land off the top, too. We can't bank on seeing lands off the top, guys. We can't. Having only 18 in here. Alright, let's see what we see. Experimental Synthesizer, huh? Gilded Pinions, okay. Well, let's go for the swing. I think, so we're up against potentially basic mono black. I think I'm gonna get the Research Desk down. I'm not sure the Hordemaster play was the right play last turn. If we would have done this last turn, then we would have had Research Desk to try to find more. Like, that could help us find more land, too, so... Yeah, this was a pretty slow couple turns here. Oh, nice. Liliana doesn't do too much to us. We just give the Epicure the +1 counter and then swing at it, and then they're forced to block with Road Captain. But we could go Gilded Pinions. Oh! Banesplitter. Huh. We had one more mana, then Gilded Pinions would be able to fly in at the Liliana. We definitely don't want to get locked down by Liliana. Banesplitter's good. It's going to be Research Desk, see what we see. I wouldn't mind a land here. Really wouldn't. But it depends. Gleeful Demolition. Okay. Gleeful Demolition is the play, right? So we swing. We swing here. And then we go wide with Gleeful Demolition, and we have Hordemaster for next turn. How you guys feel about that? They go plus on Liliana, and we ditch the... probably the Gilded Pinions, honestly. I'd love to get this down on the board, but we just don't have enough mana as of right now. Which is fine. We, like I said, we could totally play this whole game out with just 2 mana. I guess eventually we do want to see the third one, though. Yeah, Liliana's probably going to die. But what do we discard? Sorin. Oh, the life gain on the vampire is going to be rough to deal with. It blocks really well, too. Like, our Hordemaster just doesn't hit the board as strong now at all. So, I like... If we see a land, I'll tell you what, dude. So let's get rid of Gilded Pinions. It's not like the flying is going to help us against vampires. Okay, this is perfect, dude. So here's what we do. We drop the Hordemaster. We have Banesplitter open as our combat trick, right? So how we end up doing this is we want to get rid of Liliana for sure. Soren's a big old pain in the butt too, though. Where do you guys suppose they end up blocking here if we go like this? This guarantees the Liliana death. If they block here, Soren's still alive. We go Banesplitter, take out the Vampire. If we go... I'd rather that than sacrifice more to the Liliana, right? Or discard more, for that matter. I don't know. That's a tough decision, and this decision really matters, too, because it could change the entire outcome. So Liliana's out of here. Yeah, it could change the whole outcome. Because they can immediately get a Vampire back. Let's see what we see. Banesplitter's still around. Took a mana off the top, which isn't bad, man. We don't necessarily want to see the 4th right now. Unless we went right into, like, the research. Wow, they go for Soren. Grab a Cult Conscript. Comes out tapped. Oh, Flesh Gorger. Dude, all this life gain is a big old pain. Yeah, all this life gain is rough. We buff. We go all 3. Buff the Goblins, swing at Soren. Go Gleeful Demolition, take out the Banesplitter. And then play the second Rundvelt. Second Rundvelt. As long as this isn't a cutdown, that's probably the best case scenario. And we don't want this to happen. So we go full swing at Soren, make sure it dies. They probably keep Flesh Gorger because of lifelink. But then we're going wide enough here. Gleeful Demolition can also hit the Flesh Gorger. What, we pay 3? That's not bad, is it? Over going wide? Then again, going... Okay, this is a tough decision, man. Take 3, or go wide with more Goblins. I know that I just want to get Goblins on the board, man. How do you guys feel about that? Like, we definitely could have targeted the Flesh Gorger there. Wow, Shakedown heavy. Okay, they keep blockers. Shakedown blocks 1 for sure. GG opponent! Let's go, man! Wow! Our deck really did a thing there. Hey, even if Invoke Despair was still in the format, our deck is well prepared against Invoke Despair. We would have been taking some damage, but... You know, going wide, sacrificing 1 creature here and there. Just not that bad, is it? Alright, sweet. So far, so good. Let's keep it rolling. I think seeing that 3rd mana a little bit earlier would have been really good, too. It depends. I really liked the Banesplitter there. That was sick. I mean, sometimes having a little bit... Okay. Alright. This is good, right? This is a good hand. Oh, hello, opponent. Hello, buddy. Blade Runner's fine. We go Blade Runner this turn. We have Gilded Pinions next turn. And then Fuseling off the treasure. And then swing with the Blast Runner. Did I say Blade Runner? It's funny, dude. Alright. We'll have the, yeah, Gilded Pinions. We have this mana, so we don't need the treasure. So do this before combat, because it affects combat, obviously. Swing for 3. Cool. I like it. Alright. So, Gleeful Demolition could pop the Gilded Pinions, and we could go pretty wide there. We probably Rebel Salvo that, right? There's so many other great targets that we could do, though, instead. We go Epicure. Maybe we fly, huh? Maybe we just fly in for the turn. I was gonna say, like Gleeful Demolition. If we ditch the Salvo at us. If we ditch the Salvo, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry, opponent. I'm really thinking here. I really am. Because this could be the sacrifice that we need to get the thing through there. This does have... It is instant speed too. Lethal Demolition. Alright, we're going to swing with the Fuseling, and we're going to keep the Gilded Pinions, because I do think that the... flying on the Pinions is going to be important. So, hopefully that turns fine. Like, we went wide enough now. If we see Rundvelt Hordemaster off the top, then that's really good. Yeah, there were a lot of little options there. Like, a lot of things to consider, man. Jukai, Spirited. Luckily, Weaver doesn't have haste, so they can't draw twice there. But, I mean, they could still find... No, Ossification, they don't have the... Okay, Audacity. Triple block. They're gaining 5, guys, back up to 19. What's our best bet? Take the damage and hope that we can buff this wide board state? Oh, Banesplitter would have been so good. Well, Rebel Salvo still hits the Naturalist, and see, we could have prevented some of that. We could have. Full swing, we have the Banesplitter hit this board. Gilded Pinions, we could still go for something. I think we're in trouble. I do. But I think Banesplitter picks up something that, like, if they block with Weaver, we at least have the combat trick to block, or to take out Weaver, right? Okay. I mean, we'll get the extra damage through then. And we'll equip it to the card that has the highest chance of getting Menace. It's good damage. And I think we take out Rebel Salvo now, or I think we take out Naturalist on our turn. Anytime at our turn, they're tapped out. But, you know, sometimes these decks run protection, so... This is pretty sick, guys. We really know how to pack a punch, man. If they didn't gain 5 life, they'd be at 7 right now. I'll tell you what, that Hordemaster off the top would just be insane. It really, really would be. So, remove 2 of our most important things with Weaver, and we still have 3 creatures. Naturalist number 2 comes down. That lifelink's a pain in the butt, man. Seal from Existence. Now they don't have the green source, but they do get rid of our most important thing. Swing for 2 might be alright. Research desk. Alright. Not a bad draw, guys. It's too bad we didn't have that the last couple turns to sacrifice for the Blast-Runner. I feel like I keep saying Blade Runner on accident. Rebel Salvo for 1. Let's get rid of... Same concept, dude. We do it on our turn. We gotta hit the lifelink. We do it on our turn. Get a swing, they can block here. Oh, I should have swung first. They might have let it go through. Wait. No, they knew what we had in hand, right? Is it worth hitting for 3? Probably. Unfortunately, guys, losing a creature here is probably worth it. They let us keep our goblins. Nice. That's good news, at least, right? Because it's the same concept. If we can see a way to buff these goblins, then it's looking great. Visitor. Okay, Calyx. I don't see life gain over there, but we could easily get run over here now that Calyx and Visitor's on the board. I think they want to swing. I do. I think they want to try to outpace us. There's a chance that we can outpace them. Synthesizer. Good draw. Let's see what's on top, because we could still find the Rundvelt. Apprentice. Okay. Okay. We might be in trouble, guys. We have to hold back for the turn. We do have Synthesizer ability next turn to help us go wide, but it depends what they see. They could easily see more invasion. They could easily see like a Catilda. Luckily not this turn, right? But that's what I was gonna say. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yep. Trample. Trample, copy, seal. Take Apprentice. I think that's game, guys. Ah, man. All right. We really did a lot of damage there, but I don't know what order we could have seen things better. Like, it was really good that we saw both Rebel Salvos and everything. Oh, damage to a play. Oh, they're just going to flip the invasion. This has lifelink, though, huh? Okay. We'll stay wide. That's going to flip regardless unless we block with everything, which we're not doing. It does have lifelink. It does have indestructible. We have flying with pinions if we want to pay 2, but we don't have that long. If we would have been able to do more throughout the game, then maybe. Well, obviously, but I mean, if we would have been able to deal a little bit more damage early on there. So yeah, they did end up gaining a ton of life. So it's unfortunately just going to be research desk. We're so dead, guys. Could have been synthesizer too, but this lets us see 2, and we can play the Crucible. There's our Hordemaster. To the end of your next turn. It's too late though, huh? 6/6 lifelink indestructible. I'll grab the Hordemaster anyways. It's too late though. And we'll definitely let them swing on in, for sure. Invasion of Theros is pretty great, huh? There's a lot of great reasons to swing at this instead of face. Even though Calyx could have copied Seal, it was a great swing from the opponent. Just getting lifelink indestructible is so powerful, man. They hold Calyx back. There's something to be said about having the Banesplitter if we would have actually been able to do something there. Because now they copy Seal, they take another Goblin. They're back up to 14. Yeah, the 5 life gain. There maybe there is a way through, but I don't think so. You guys will have to let me know if there is a way to get any extra damage throughout this game. I think in general, a deck like this that's running 31 1-drops, man, is going to really struggle against life gain builds, and we got about as lucky as we possibly could seeing removal for their first 2 life gain cards. If I would have kept Rebel Salvo back, then maybe the Calyx could have been picked up. This is indestructible too, and with Rebel Salvo, it loses indestructible, so we could have picked up that life gain as well. So maybe it was the second Jukai Naturalist if I would have been more patient with our Rebel Salvo, huh? Maybe, actually. Now I'm really wondering. Now I'm wondering, man. Okay, Rundvelt hits. Could have been good. We actually could have given flying to one of the 2/2s. You can successfully full swing, opponent. You can quite successfully full swing. Oh, there you go. Yeah, give it to Kami of Transience or literally anything at that point. And then full swing. Woo, buddy. Yeah, we just played a Selesnya Enchantments deck. For Thursday's video, I believe is when that'll be posted. And it's scary business, man. I'll tell you what. Hey, GG, opponent. All right, let's hop into the next one. You know what? I think we can do a thing, guys. I do. I think there's a good chance of doing a thing actually with this list. So let's keep going. It does seem like the Hordemaster is going to be very essential. So I guess I'm a little concerned that the deck is going to rely too heavily on that buff. So we can try to think of other ways to buff a wide board state. I know that there's at least one way for red. That's a 4-mana card, isn't it? Any other more efficient ways to buff a wide board state, guys? Other than, I guess, like Mechanized Warfare. Oh man, 22 seconds. What's going on, man? That took forever. Alright, opponent, what you bring you to the table, buddy? Good hand, right? We got the Hordemaster. I don't know if we could ask for much more at that point. Officer, hey. We might have a good chance against soldiers. Guys, yeah. I think against soldiers, they don't have lifelink. They have great cards, though. Guardian, nice. Might be mono white soldiers then. Running Sarah Paragon on the top end. It's a good trade for us. But I don't think I'm going to do it. I think we have a chance of outpacing them, I do. The indestructible on Guardian is a pain in the butt, but especially since they can do that after the fact, right? They can do it after the Rebel Salvo targets. So we'd have to, like, block and then have them give indestructible, and then on top of that, I guess that would work. Smelter? Okay. Because, yeah, they block there regardless of a combat trick, because then they just discard a card from hand. So this turn might just be Research Desk, Sacrifice, that gets to 2-1, not worth it. Iron Apprentice is a great chump blocker. And Research Desk is going to be a great one to sacrifice to Smelter when it comes time. This is a great example game as to why Voltage Surge would be a great addition. I mean, that's... yeah, so no swings. I could see Play with Fire too, though. That way you could just hit the opponent's face when it comes time. It's like I said, 4 damage is a lot less important than you would ever think. Wow, they take the Fuseling. Oh, I guess that makes sense, because now our blockers are bad still. Because now we don't have a creature to actually plug this extra counter into. They get a great scry here. So mono white soldiers, okay. I think we have a chance, but the Cathar came out right on time, dude. Because the plan was to chump with Apprentice and then buff the Fuseling, and it would have buffed twice, because it would have gotten oil counter, buffing its attack, and then it would have gotten the +1/+1 counter. So yeah, that came out right on time. We swing with Apprentice, they don't block. They don't fall for a combat trick here. They might if we go Iron Apprentice, though. 1, 2, 3, 1. We go Smelter, it's not bad. Sacrifice Research Desk. The 3-1 can at least swing in. And if they block Apprentice, then we can buff Smelter, potentially. Man, there are a lot of options in this build. Opponent, I apologize. I'm thinking this one through, buddy. Rundvelt doesn't buff the board because it's not a goblin, obviously. It's funny how combo heavy this deck actually is. So if it's not Smelter, then we start with Apprentice. And they probably just take the 1 here, I would say. But I think it was worth a shot. Because if they do block, then Banesplitter hits and we get our Exuberant Fuseling back. And then we buff the Apprentice, number 2. So, yeah, they just take the 1, I would say. It's a really, really risky block. That gives us a lot. Okay, so now we take the turn to get the Smelter down and set up. Then again, no, yeah, it's going to be Smelter. Get that down and set up and hope they don't have Brutal Cathar number 2. Yep. I was going to say, we could keep Banesplitter open to try to combat trick the Cathar when they swing with it, but they probably hold Cathar back anyways, because that's what they can buff with the Guardian. Oh, Miro, look at this. Look at their board, man. Step 1. Step 2, Step 3, Step 4, opponent cries. That's rough business, dude. Oh, buddy. Guardian of New Benelia is so underplayed. On so many levels, dude. Like, where has this card been? Seriously. I mean, Azorius Soldiers doesn't run it, and I understand that. Azorius Soldiers already has a lot packed in. I guess some of them do, don't get me wrong. I'm talking, like, in general. Alright, at least we have the chump this turn. Taking less damage is crucial. Smelter, Banesplitter. Yeah, so far the deck is incredibly combo heavy. And I'm definitely feeling that right now. I'm going to go into the Smelter because Rundvelt buffs it to a 4/4 as well, which gets it above the Mirrex, which means they'd want to find that second Cathar for the Hordemaster. Fuseling, great draw. Good stuff, guys. So we go Fuseling before combat for sure. Do we ditch the research desk and hold Hordemaster for a turn? Keep Banesplitter open. We're buffing a lot depending on the blocks here. During your turn, opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments, so we wouldn't be able to flash in the Banesplitter. You have the research desk ability too. We could always ditch the Apprentice, swing with a 4/4 Smelter. 4/4 Smelter, they probably take the 4. And then that buffs the Fuseling as well. And then we'll have Banesplitter for the 3/1, right? Buff the 3/1, take out the Mirrex. I like that. I like that, dude. How cool is this? There's a lot to think about. I kind of wish I would have practiced with the build a little bit before recording the video, but this is fun. I really like Banesplitter. It's a neat card, to say the least about it, really. They might even just take the 7, man. Because, like, this could be a play with fire, too, but yeah. Banesplitter, let's get that Mirrex off this board. I guess they figure if it was like a play with fire, then we would take Cathar. And we know we don't have play with fires, but generally speaking, if you're up against red, you want to play around play with fires anyways, so. And we lost another creature, which means Fuseling goes up to 3/1. The opponent's down to 15. Like, I don't know, man. I think this could go either way. Like, Banesplitter is doing exactly what I wanted it to do in here, which is be a combat trick that also stays on the board so you can sacrifice it later on to all of your other stuff. Oh, the opponent's just playing great stuff, though, man. That's bad news. What a turn. What, all the opponent's turns have been terrifying. Like... like, right into the turn 4 Mirrex, and then turn 5, they don't even care that the Mirrex's out of here, man. Like, Valiant Veteran and Thalia. At 15, they have one card in hand to save the Guardian. We could trade with Officer, but then what, huh? I think we're in trouble. I think we're dead next turn, even if we do block. We trade here, and then they just, yeah. Yeah, we take the 9. I think this is the opponent's even if we do block, so... Ooh, Goblin Blast-Runner. That doesn't have haste, though. 1, 2. This is so cool, man. Hordemaster buffs the board. We have 1, ditch the Banesplitter. That's so cool. I wish the opponent had a little bit weaker cards on the board right now. Like this was just too much to actually deal with. But like this buffs the Fuseling too. Oh my goodness. Could we survive next turn? Probably not. Mishra's Foundry powers up too. Guys, this is a fun swing. I'm swinging. We're doing it. It's 13 damage. They could just take it. So that was a rough uphill battle, but it really showcased the power of the deck overall, guys. Yeah, first strike on Thalia takes care of the Fuseling. It's still really cool. It's still a sweet swing. Good game, opponent. Oh, man. Guys, we're 40 minutes in. Do you guys think we can get one more? Mural number 2. Why not? Did I drop the GGs? I'll drop on this. GG's, just in case I already dropped the first one. Okay. Walk there. I hope the opponents have been enjoying the list at least so far. There's a lot to be said about just playing Voltage Surge over the Banesplitter, but like that was so cool what we were able to do last turn with it too. Oh, opponent. Okay, there you go. Oh, opponent. What's holding up the attack? There you go. What was holding up the attack? Oh, probably the Guardian. The Guardian of New Benalia. They probably thought they clicked the button, but yeah, they have to click it a couple times. All right. Let's see if we could go one more, huh? So far, I guess we can call the list janky, but it's cool, man. I'm having a blast with it. And speaking of janky, this is not the exact list that was suggested in the comments by any means. They mentioned that they were able to make it to Mythic with that list, and that list had a much different... Wait a minute. Can we rock this, man? 1 mana? Let's do this. I'm gonna try it. Haha, 1 mana. I think we can actually play this one out. Anyways, yeah, they had Voltage Surge and stuff in that list too, so I'm guessing their list was less janky. Let's go Voldaren Epicure. Actually a tough decision because Research Desk can help us find mana next turn, but I think it's going to be a turn 2 Synthesizer and see if we see the land off of that. Okay, Banesplitter. Alright, Synthesizer, find land, or just get the top card off of the library so we find land sooner. Okay. Swing for 1. We have 18 land total in here, so we're going to see the second one eventually. It's enough. It's enough. When we have 31 1-drops, it's enough. Oh no, Apprentice. Okay. Rona blocks really well. Gleeful Demolition helps us go wide. Research Desk maybe should have been the first turn. Maybe should have. They don't know we got Banesplitter. It trades with Rona. Sure. Let's go Banesplitter this turn. We're up against Esper Legend, so having a really slow start like this is really, really bad. So as long as we actually... Right, so Banesplitter targets our creature, so the Skrelv doesn't do anything for the Rona. Skrelv gives hexproof protection, and they already blocked. Right? What's protection do again? Permanent with hexproof? It's not actual protection. It's it can't be blocked. But it's not actual protection, but I kind of forget if protection protects from damage too. Why can't I think, bro? It's like I've never played Magic before, I swear. Okay, Gleeful Demolition probably hits Banesplitter. At least we get to go wide. Dennick has the life gain. I know, guys, I know. I could have mulliganed. But you gotta test it out sometimes. I mean, that's what we're here doing. Research Desk is pretty good. If we don't see a land next turn, at least we can find the land off of Research Desk. I guess it's Desk over Gleeful Demolition, even though technically it could be 2 turns of Gleeful Demolition, and in those 2 turns find a land and a Hordemaster, and then buff a wide board state. Ugh. Ooh. The opponent's turns have been nasty, man. Alright, let's get that draw. Another Gleeful Demolition. Okay. Well, let's find that land with the Mishra's Research Desk. There's no way it's not in the top 2, right? There's no way. Wow, there is a way. Well, I guess I really should have mulliganed, although at that point we're getting unlucky, right? 46 cards remaining, so we're 14 cards into the deck. um, 14 cards into the deck, 18 land total. We saw one out of all of them. Yeah, no, that's unlucky. Successfully swing in from the opponent there. Land! Down to 7. We can play our Rundvelt. Could go a couple Gleeful Demolitions. The Rundvelt. Thank you. It's my fault. It is. I know. Actually, if we started with, I'm gonna keep the Synthesizer for next turn. 6 Goblins is great. The Hordemaster is too bad we couldn't like keep that exiled for longer, but it was only for the turn there. But like buffing this Goblin board state, man, I'll tell you what. Even if we did mulligan, I mean, obviously it was going to be an uphill battle against Esper Legends, but there's so much cool packed into the list, man. But I'm going to have to put Jank in the title just based on how wrecked we got today. Still really neat, though. Forced to block. They can play the long game, for sure, with the Sheoldred. More land, why not? If we go... Now Thalia's on the board, so that costs 2 to get rid of Synthesizer to see more off the top. So if we go Gleeful Demolition, Synthesizer, find a land, then we can play it. If we find a 1-drop, which is very likely too. Alright, let's see what we see. That's 9 goblins on the board. Epicure. Land Epicure. Look at this, man. It's so cool. I'm a little sad we couldn't actually do more today, but wow. This is one of those moments too where you think like, oh, like the Convoke cards would be insane, but Stoke the Flame doesn't hit Sheoldred, right? City on Fire would be really good, but how often were we actually allowed to go wide today? Not too often, so this would have been a perfect game for City on Fire Convoke. Would have been really good actually, but I'm not convinced. And then we would have had to tap down a bunch of creatures too. It has one more turn. Squee's pretty good. Wow, there's just so much cool. There's so much cool packed in, man. I want to keep playing with it, honestly, but we're 47 minutes in, unfortunately, so... yeah. Let's go ahead, sacrifice our blood token. Cool swing. Whee! Oh, man. I mean, if you're looking for a fun time, then the deck might be okay. And if we would have mulliganed here to see a second land earlier, it's like I said, I think it would have been an uphill battle, but honestly, there might be some serious power packed in, and I'm just missing it right now. There really might be. Let's drop the opponent, the GT. Good game. And I liked that they were being playful about our lands, so that was pretty funny. So I'll drop them one of these or something. We'll block the Sheoldred. Oh yeah, Thalia first, right? Well, we were dead regardless, huh? Let's go talk about the deck some more, guys. I don't entirely know what I would add or take out or what I would do, but there's definitely some things to be said about the cards that we have in here, so... let's do this. Oh, actually, I do have an idea. All right. First of all, after those games, Mirrex might actually hold you up sometimes. We didn't like see that happen, but it's possible. The good news is, at least, like, you add 1 mana of any color, activate only if Mirrex entered the battlefield this turn. At least it has that on there. So that's another reason to play this over Foundry when we have all these 1-drops that need that red source, right? So anyways, what would I add or take out? I would drop the Gilded Pinions down to 1. I still think it might be worth the 1 of. I really like the treasure here. I like how it pairs with the Goblin Blast-Runner and everything. If you're dropping the Pinions, then technically Rebel Salvo gets a little bit worse, but I think Rebel Salvo is pretty essential. I think dealing 5 damage to things are just like, it's just too important not to try, which means I'm gonna keep all 4 Banesplitters and actually try to play this in a couple other builds at some point. Like, can you imagine Banesplitter in a oh wow, guys, I've really been struggling with names for all day in the there it is. Patchwork Automaton, dude. We've played like cards that give flash to our artifacts with Automaton in the past. That would be the Battlethopter or whatever, and it was pretty good. So like Patchwork Automaton build with the Banesplitter sounds pretty good, and like this card just wasn't bad, was it? It just wasn't. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. It acted as just like a way to clean up an opponent's creature, and then it stays on the battlefield so you can use it for a Gleeful Demolition or anything else at that matter, right? Like the Smelter. Okay, so more removal, more removal. We need it because we're going up against a lot of soldiers. So drop the one Gilded Pinion. You could get rid of the Skull Bomb. I thought it would have been interesting to see if how often it came into play, but I could see dropping it. And then, so one Gilded Pinions, one Skull Bomb, go up 2 Voltage Surge. We might need 3 or 4, honestly. It really depends. Like, what are you guys seeing in the meta right now? What I'm seeing is a lot of mono red, a lot of soldiers, and it's a good mixture of everything, though, honestly. I know a lot of people are saying that the meta didn't get shaken up too much, but I'm seeing a decent variety. The worst of the varieties have just been way too much soldiers. And that time around, it wasn't even Azora soldiers today. It was just mono white soldiers, which honestly, I think it looks really powerful, especially if they're rocking the Guardian against this deck in particular, too. The Guardian of New Benelia is just disgusting. I think the one of Squee was completely fine. I liked the research desk, but I could see dropping this to 2. Okay, there you go. That would be a good way to get 3 Voltage Surge in here, guys. Drop down to 2 research desk. Drop the Skull Bomb, drop down to 1 Gilded Pinions, go up 3 Voltage Surge. The list isn't like looking as clean if you do it that way. It looks a little cleaner when it's like this for some reason. I can't really explain that. But I do think that we need 3 or 4 Voltage Surge just based on what we saw today. Now, Voltage Surge wouldn't have picked up things like the Sheoldred in that last match, but it would have picked up the Dennick had it come time. I think 18 land is completely fine. I think I should have mulliganed in that last game, but it was definitely worth the shot. I mean, even after the research desk, we were definitely just getting unlucky at that point, because 18 is more than enough to play with 31 1-drops. It's really funny, actually. Really like the Iron Apprentice in a list like that. There's just like so much cool just oozing out of so many different plays. I really like it. When I put this up on Aether Hub, I'm going to put it up as a combo jank build because that's kind of what I think it is, man. All 4 Demolitions important, all 4 Fuselings, all 4 Goblin Blast-Runners, all 4 Hordemasters. Yep, all that is pretty important. Everything else can kind of be mixed and matched, I would say. I could see dropping down to 3 Banesplitters and then going up that 4th Voltage Surge too. Could totally see that. Or dropping Skull Bomb, dropping Gilded Pinions, going down to 3 Banesplitters, then 3 Voltage Surge. That could work too. There's a lot of different ways I would put together that front end. But either way, I think this particular version of the build is still going to be a little janky based on what you're seeing in the meta, of course. Other than that, it's got a lot of cool plays, and I do think there's a little bit of power packed in too. So alrighty, enough rambling, guys. If you made it this far into the video, then for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.